One of the best retention tools that you have in your business exists right underneath your nose, and I bet you're not even using it to the fullest extent. So today, I'm going to teach you how to build the strongest community you've ever had in your business, retain more clients, and get clients to get the best results they've ever had, and that it lives in your Facebook community group. If you operate a lot of your business off Facebook by running meta ads and organic social media, like if you are in the adult fitness population, you should definitely be on Facebook. And if you don't have a Facebook community group, I would tell you to stop this video or podcast right now. Go and start a Facebook community group for your gym members. Now, the reason is I've studied community building for a long time. I've worked with consultants and people that are known as the greatest community builders in the world. And the first tenet to developing community is having a centralized place to gather. And if you don't have that, and your gym is not that place because you can only facilitate so much gathering at one time, you need a place that people can consistently gather together and meet each other and create relationships and be among people with shared values and a shared purpose, like your gym members. So that is the first reason that the Facebook community group is incredibly powerful, is it creates a centralized place that people of all times of training and types of member can gather together and build relationships. So go install that community group in your business. And I'm going to teach you a few of the lesser known tools that can help you optimize this group in a way that you can use this group as a business asset. So I'm going to ask you to grab a pen and paper. There's going to be a lot of tactics that you can apply. Just like always, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, but take notes throughout here because there's going to be a lot of great things that you can take with you. So the first question that I'll ask, and I get asked a lot, is why Facebook versus some of these other community or business kind of platforms, right? The simple answer is, for me, it's the only one that I've ever used, but really Facebook is where your people are already at. If we try to get people to join a gym, start a diet program, and install a digital behavior of going to like a whole new app just for your gym, it's going to have a very low adoption rate. So the best thing you can do is to meet people exactly where they are and create the platform based on where your clients are. And maybe that's a little bit different for your business, but for my business in the adult fitness niche, that's where they live. They're on Facebook every day. So I want to position myself exactly where their habits are already ingrained. All right. So that is, my take on why you would go Facebook group or community as they call it now, versus any other platform that, people are building communities in, like School or Mighty Networks or anything like that. So now that you've got your group and you've been convinced that Facebook is the place to house that group, here's how you want to start approaching that group. So number one is a lot of times people build these communities and they don't actually take a business approach to them. So the first thing is you want to set a goal for the use of this group. So why do you want this group and how many people do you want in it? So when you start the group, you should set a goal for how many people you want to have in your group. And that can either be the number of total members of the group, or it can be a percentage of your total membership. I would recommend you set a goal for yourself to get a total of 80% of your clients into your community group. Now, you're going to have a few people that just don't have Facebook. You're going to have people that don't like Facebook, and you're going to have people that just don't respond to your invitation to join the group, and that's okay. But if you're in the adult fitness population, 80% would be a really good goal for you to strive to have in your community group. And the easiest way to do that is just, if you've got 200 members, your goal is to get 160 members in your group. Okay. So that's number one, is approach your Facebook community with some business goals that you can put on a scorecard that you're measuring against on a regular basis, just like your scorecard for all other metrics. Now, to help you hit that goal, you want to create systems for inviting them to the group and measuring it. So when a member joins, you should manually invite them to join the group, give them some incentive like Tell them there's exclusive content or recipes and meal plans and updates. And then as you measure it, if you see people didn't join the group, you would want to circle back and make sure that you get a decision from them. Either a, yeah, sorry, I'll join now, a, I don't have Facebook, sorry, or I have no interest in joining your group, stop asking me. All right. If you're very deliberate, you'll get more adoption into your Facebook group. So number 2, now that you've got your group and you've set a goal for growing that group, you want to optimize for activity and engagement in the group. So how do you do that? So how do you get people to communicate and engage in this thing that you just started? There's a few things that I'm going to teach you that are incredibly effective at doing so. So the first thing is you want to lead the charge by posting every single day, especially in the beginning. Right? You want to get people in the habit of seeing notifications and wanting to click and building the habit of going to that group and getting content from you. Now, a couple tips for optimizing for engagement. Every single post should have a photo or video. You never want to just have text. You also want to utilize emojis and any eye-catching headlines in your first line, all the same tactics as like email marketing and social media headlines. And finally, use the everyone tag 3 to 5 times every single week for your content. Now you would just tag @everyone. Now it'll notify everybody of these posts. Now make sure you walk a fine line to make sure you're not spamming people, because almost like the boy who cried wolf, if you're tagging everyone and you ask a dumb question or you post something really stupid, and people don't get value from it, they're gonna not wanna go. But if when you tag everyone and there's something of value there, they will be more incentivized to go back, all right? So make sure you understand that your job is to provide value and to get engagement. And sometimes those can be conflicting if you utilize the @everyone tactic too much for the wrong things. And finally, another way to optimize for engagement is tag relevant clients or staff members. So for example, let's say you do a post on how to get more protein into your diet in your community group. You may want to tag a few members that have asked that question or have the problem of getting protein in their diet in the comments. And you would want to say, hey, Sarah, I thought this might help. Hey, Gabe, make sure you add this protein shake to your Greek yogurt tomorrow, right? You want to, again, get them engaging on a more personal level. And the bigger your group is, the harder it is to target people, but that's still an effective strategy. Number 3, understand that activity is currency. So one of the really important things for developing community and getting people to stay in your business is to get them more immersed in your world. And your community group is a very low barrier of entry. The more they engage, the more active they are, the more bought in they're gonna feel. And you can actually develop some metrics around that engagement. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. How do you get more engagement and understanding that the more members you get engaged and active in your group, the better? One of the tools that you can use is in the group insights. So you go to the settings in your group and you can actually pull your top contributing members. So this is going to give you, over the last 4 weeks, your top contributing members of your group. All right. Again, we're going to get tactical here. You're going to export that list and you're going to look at, whatever it is, the 50 people that were very active or the most active in your group. I think it's about 50 that they give you. And you're going to export that list and you're going to upload it and build a, whatever Google Sheet formula you need to, and compare it to your total membership list. And you're going to see what members are disengaged in your Facebook group, and you're going to try to target them for more engagement. So again, I'm speaking to a lot of gym members that have 100, 200 members. This should not be a big project. Now for my group, we have about 500 members. It's more of a project, but we still do this because it's that important. So you're going to export your member list. You're going to compare it to your top engagement list. And you're going to look at all of the members that are not top contributors. And then you're going to target them and try to get them to become top contributors. Maybe you ask them questions that are very relevant to them. Maybe you tag them in resources that are going to be helpful to them. Maybe you tag a top contributor that has a shared interest and say, hey, this person comes at 5:30 a.m. Have you met them? So you're going to find a way to bring out the lurkers in your group and give them a reason to engage. And it's a way to manufacture engagement and activity in your group is by giving them a reason to engage. So that's one tactic to generate more activity and understand that if those lurkers don't engage, they are more likely to fall off in other areas of your business. You want the lurkers to get more involved, and this is a really easy and simple way to do so. Now, another way to get really good engagement is, and this may be a little bit sneaky, is to ask the questions that you know your community wants asked, okay? So we deal with a lot of emotional people in fitness, people that are emotional about their weight, their health, the impacts of those things. So a lot of times it's very vulnerable, and a lot of people have questions that they're afraid to ask. Maybe they don't want to express that they have a concern or that they do have those vulnerabilities, or they're afraid to look stupid. We asked somebody the other day, like in our Facebook group, like what they wanted to learn more about. And they admitted that they didn't know what protein was. And another person didn't know what macros were. So these are things that people are afraid to ask that generate a lot of engagement. Because if a few people don't know them, a lot of people don't know them and they're not admitting it. So a great way to generate engagement in your group is to ask the questions that you know people are afraid to ask. There's a function in your group that allows you to post anonymously, that you can make a post that says, hey, I'm embarrassed to ask. I don't know what protein is, and I see everybody talking about getting more protein in your diet. What does that mean, and how do I do it? The amount of support that you'll see in the comments section of that post and people engaging with, pouring recipe ideas and helpful tips is going to be amazing. It will probably become one of your most engaged with posts in your group. And that's one tactic that you can do to get more engagement and also get peer-to-peer support, which is going to develop better relationships and also, make people feel like they get more value from the community. Because if somebody else comments and says, I'm so glad you asked because I don't know what it is either, and another person comments, oh my God, you're on my session. I'll bring my protein powder in and you can try it and I'll tell you what my shake recipe is. Now you're creating relationships, and now both people are getting a sense of value from that post. All right. So a lot of factors there, but any question that you feel like isn't being asked, you want to find a way to present it, whether it's through a piece of content, an anonymous post, or you ask a member to present about it. Because again, peer-to-peer and user-generated content is incredibly effective. Next, you want to measure and optimize your group to grow. There's 2 metrics that I will challenge you to get for your Facebook group and measure against. The first one, and again, you're going to go into the insights and the stats tab in your Facebook group to get these. These are very lesser known metrics, but the first metric is what's called your activity rate. Your activity rate is where you take your total member number in your group and you divide it by the number of active members over the last 28 days. So again, for example, my members group has 466 total people in my community group. And there are 400 over the last 28 days, because I did this today, there are 422 people that have been active. So they've liked, commented, posted, engaged in some capacity in the group. So that's about a 90% activity rate in my group, okay? It's an incredibly valuable metric to measure against, because if you see month to month your activity rate decreases, you can change the content that you're posting. You can be more strategic about how you're engaging with people and what you're posting. You can look back at your best months and find the top posts and repeat those. But if you don't have a number, you will never be able to identify those trends. So your first metric is your activity rate. And I'll repeat it again. You take your total number of members in the group divided by your total active members. These are both very accessible numbers. That's how you generate your activity rate. And a great goal is a 90% activity rate, just like mine. The next number is much harder and more nuanced, but this is what's called your engagement rate. Now, here's what I'll say about this number. This number is really difficult to improve or to track on a regular basis. But what I will say, and there's no perfect metric, this number is going to change drastically based on the size of your group. So a group with 100,000 members is going to have, a much smaller rate. A group with 100 members is going to have a massive rate. Really, the key is you need to understand what your rate is now and then improve it. But what you're going to do is you're going to go to what's called the engagement tab, and you're going to look at, it measures the number of comments, likes, and posts in the group in any time period. So there's 3 categories: comments, likes, and posts. And then there's an all tab that will show you all engagements that have been had in your group. You're going to select all, and you're going to do the total engagements over that time period divided by the number of active members in your group. Say it again. The total engagement, the combination of likes, posts, and comments divided by your active members. Not your total members, your active members. That's going to give you your engagement rate. Now, again, that number could be all over the map. It could be 100%, could be 300%. Doesn't matter what it is right now. What matters is you get a baseline, and then you can set goals to grow it from there. Now, how you grow it is you use the data to dictate your moves. Okay, let data dictate all of these decisions for you. And I'll give you a personal example. When I really got into using the Facebook group, I like doing videos. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel. I create content. I do videos all the time. My videos giving philosophical tips or weight loss tips or whatever got horrible engagement. They got very little views and likes and comments. So I had to learn that my videos don't do very well. What did do very well were stupid, fun engagement posts. I'll tell you, if you want to run a post that gets a shit ton of engagement in your group, ask whether people think peanut butter is a spread or a condiment. And you'll see people fight for days in the comment section about this ridiculous question, and it'll be one of the most engaging things you've ever posted in your members group. So what I mean by that is your group isn't necessarily just about education or providing like world-class knowledge. It's just a place to get people to gather, and it's a place to get them to engage, to build relationships, and to get them into the habit of it interacting with your brand more often. Because the more often they engage with you, no pun intended, because that's my business name, the more often they engage with you, the more immersed they're going to feel in your world, and the harder it will be to step away and cancel their membership. So don't, let your ego dictate that you've got to have, you've got to post videos that are super high level, super high production. Let the data dictate the things that you post and share in the group. Our group is comprised of a bunch of stupid shit, a bunch of goofy posts, a bunch of funny posts, and a bunch of stuff that's just members building relationships. And that's the way I want it to be, because that's what I think builds a great community. But don't let your ego about, quality of education and content get in the way of what actually works to grow your group. Now, my final thoughts on the Facebook members group. This is a question that I've struggled with for a long, long time. And it's the idea of, do you get rid of former clients? So people that quit your gym, do you remove them from the group, or do you keep them in always as a, member of that group? So the 2 schools of thought on this are, one school of thought is this is a group of exclusive content that, is a value add for your members, and that they can only get certain recipes and tips and tricks while they're a current member. And when they're gone, they get it deleted. The other school of thought is you are staying present in front of former members. You're having free advertising space, free real estate to post new events you're running, promos you're running, stuff that's happening at the gym to create that sense of FOMO. Now, again, 2 schools of thought, probably no right or wrong answer, but in my perspective, the value that I get from maintaining omnipresence with former members and the ability to create FOMO, the ability to keep free advertising messaging in front of those people is way more valuable than this idea that we have exclusive content for members, because I don't think they appreciate it as much as we do. So we have had an immense amount of people come back and reactivate to our gym because of something they saw in our members group, like a challenge we're running, a promotion, a social event that made them feel nostalgic. So my personal opinion is that you keep your people in the group, and you could even use it as like, a positive way to say farewell, where when somebody cancels, you say, hey, listen, typically we pull people out, but we're going to let you stay in the group because, we really want to keep you in the loop on things, right? Even if that's bullshit, you can use it to have a little goodwill with somebody when they leave the gym, and then hopefully they stay present and reactivate in the future. But your community group is a critical element to building your community, creating a centralized place that people can gather and build relationships, make friends, and become immersed in your business, no matter where they are. And I would really recommend you take that group more seriously, create some metrics that you can scale and measure against, and build the group to its fullest potential.